What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Me and my boy Cody Yarbrough got a little bit of wisdom for you new guys who want to get started in your pressure washing business this year. You've been evaluating, should I do it? Should I not do it? When should I wait? We've been in the business for a long time. Cody's been in the business longer than me, built a lot of equipment, and I ran my own lean and mean pressure washing business for years. I think we'll be able to show you a few different ways of thinking about getting started today. Really want to talk to you guys about why starting a pressure washing business is it's honestly too cheap. Cody, what's up?
What's going on, man? It's a rainy day down here, and I get to say in Georgia now. I'm not in Alabama. I'm in Georgia. I feel like I moved up a notch, you know.
You did.
In Georgia, they slant eye everybody in Alabama. And everybody in Alabama, they get slant eye everybody in Mississippi. And everybody in Mississippi, they'll lay this shit out of luck. So.
That's right. That's exactly right. My wife
it's
trying to FaceTime me right now, so that ain't gonna happen. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about why these guys they're starting their business, and it's honestly, you can get started with next to nothing. You don't want to stay there. But let's talk about some other businesses that guys start and some other opportunities besides pressure washing and what those cost.
Yeah. I think a lot of times guys don't really understand. If you've worked a 9 to 5 or shift work, you don't have a reason to have a good perspective. Service-based businesses are always going to be cheaper to start up than a hard goods business because you don't have to have the goods. You're selling a service. You're selling yourself. If you've got something that you're really good at, especially if it's a rarer trade or skill, something that requires licensing, going towards that end of the spectrum, you're going to get paid a lot more, all the way down to the high schooler push mowing a lawn. Having said that, there's guys in lawn care. We know a bunch of them that make hundreds, multiple hundreds. I actually know a few that do millions a year in lawn care. So no matter where you're at on that spectrum of ability to charge, there's room to make a whole bunch of money. A service-based business is usually going to be the easiest thing to get your foot in the door because you're selling your time. You don't have to go and buy and source goods. And we've done all that. And it is extremely difficult. So when guys start looking at starting a service business, especially pressure washing, what we like to talk about is what we're in, they usually come into it, a good chunk of them come into it, and they're, as my boy Gibson from Gibson's Lawn Care would say, they po-mouth, and they're doing their calculus about how much it's going to cost to get started. They're looking at some equipment, maybe some training. From where they sit, it sounds like a hellacious pile of money, because they've never spent any real money on anything before. That's actually not true. They probably got a little shitty bass boat. They probably got a truck and then another project truck, right? So they have spent money, but they haven't invested any money in the market and themselves and a business. So this is their first foray into the business. They think it's a lot of money, and we're here to tell you it's actually not a lot of money.
I think investing is much harder than just blowing money. And that may sound cliche and like a duh thing, but when you start to put money into an investment, something that's going to make you money instead of buying a bass boat or whatever, most people who own these boats can't really afford them because it's not furthering their family. Yeah, you can make memories on the boat, but I think it's a little too early to purchase this thing. You need to be able to purchase this stuff and not care about the gas you're putting in the boat. I used to hear about these guys all the time growing up. It was like, we go out on the boat, everybody's got to bring $30 to put gas in it. You remember that? It was like, oh, you got to bring the beer.
There's the lake right there.
This community event where everybody has to pour in. If you have ever talked about that with your buddies or your friends, you can't afford the boat.
Yeah.
The point is to have the boat, but not even care about the gas, the maintenance. That's the enjoyment part of doing that. But a lot of guys, it's very easy to spend the money on the boat, but it's hard. They'll see an $11,000 boat. You're like, man, that's a good deal right there. Right. That motor alone costs $8,000, man.
Calculus. It's $11,000-$12,000 boat, like you said, and I got $4,000 I'll put down on it financing, and it ain't gonna be but $285 a month. But if we take that same formula and we say, let's look at this mini skid, it immediately goes out the window. It's not the same math. When it's, look, I know Me sitting here, it's going to sound like I'm trying to sell a mini skid. And that's cause I am. but the math is still true. The boat don't make you any money. And we're not saying don't get a boat. What we're saying is it's much more enjoyable to have your assets pay for your fun stuff than to be getting the fun stuff and then trying to figure it out the rest of the month, right? You're always on that side of the 8 ball. When your assets are kind of auto running and they're paying for your lifestyle, you can level up your lifestyle one of two ways. You can keep banking it and grow much faster or coast a little bit, but you have the luxury of options once you've built some assets. So what are assets? Assets are businesses that you own or equipment that makes you money, right? That's what Aaron's talking about. Something that makes you money. Look, I got plenty of shit that's just cool shit, but I didn't have any of that until I had some assets that's also cool shit, because there is a lot of enjoyment in that as well. But then those things generate income. You have a golden goose that lays the eggs for you all the time. It's not like a magic wand. It is a different kind of way of structuring your life.
Setting yourself and setting your mind up for the expectation that this is going to be a 2-year run minimum to where I can get this thing to a place where I can start really enjoying the money a little bit. I was blessed with a terrible divorce. I say I was blessed with it because it made me live on about 10 to 20% of my income for 6 years. It forced me into this disciplined, regimented way of handling my money. Because I was spending out the ass for attorney's fees, I also had to run my business. There was no YOLO talk in my house. We hope we live twice. You say you only live once. I don't care about none of that pleasure today stuff. I ain't interested in the pleasures of today. I'm interested in the pleasure 5, 10, 20 years from now, where I can wake up and decide if I want to go to work or not. I can wake up and choose how much I want to work or if I want to work at all. Or I could just go on a trip with my family when I want to. Yeah. That is what I'm banking on personally. And I think I'm biased, but I think that's the best way.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, look at we all do this. We look at people with that lifestyle we're looking for. Those people are making multiple 6 figures, or they're creeping up towards a bigger business size where they're doing serious revenue. But if you're not there, you got to get there. The gap between where you're at and where you want to go, that's going to take some compression time. So never fear investing some money into your business. Not everything's a good idea. Most things ain't a good idea, but you don't know until you try it. So here's the good news with pressure washing. It's cheap as hell to try it. If you look at what you can make and what you got to put into it. Let's give an example here of Bob. Bob's got a truck. No, I don't like Bob. Let's go with Kyle, because Kyle probably drinks a Monster Rehab and he's more on my speed.
He builds CRMs too. Somehow.
Allegedly. He may or may not also be around Volkswagen van. I don't know. But you got a truck, right? If you're in the game and you've already got a truck, and most of us blue collar guys, if you're in the South, you're in the Midwest, if you're looking at getting into something like this, good chance you probably already got a pickup truck as your daily driver. So that's a big win if you got that. Now, if you don't, you can still do it. Absolutely. If you got an SUV or something like that, you can pull a trailer. So don't let that, no, if you plan on pulling a trailer, it really don't matter anyway. But if you have a truck, you're in a good spot to start some kind of service trades business because you need a truck. So Kyle's got a truck, $5,000 and decent credit. If you hit some of these check marks, you can start a pressure washing business and it's near risk-free past that point. You might be a colossal fail and sell everything off and try to recoup some money. But the redeeming grace factor is the daily revenue potential. The daily revenue potential being on the low end. I feel like Alec Baldwin from Glengarry Glen Ross. I could go out today with the tools you have and scrape up 2-3 roof cleanings tonight.
Exactly.
It ain't shit to make $3,000 a week. I found a new guy on YouTube. I sent Aaron a link to him yesterday. YouTube, I don't know who he is. Linval Williams, this guy right here. I like him. He just sits in his car and talks about get your ass to work, man. You need to be building your empire. It's that kind of mindset. He's got like 40,000 subs. Go over there and check him out, guys. He was talking about how successful he is, and he's doing good. You can tell he's doing well. And he said, yeah, man, I've had weeks where I made $3,000. What you gonna tell me? And I was like, okay, because I'd watched several videos, and I don't know what he does for business, but I like his message. He's my kind of guy. But to him, crushing it is $3,000 a week, and he's stoked. Now, if I were to tell you that in pressure washing, you should be sitting there about Wednesday. See, if I say that, I'm going to get accused of, oh, they just selling you bullshit pipe dream. Is that true, Aaron? Is that what do most guys try to pull a 5-day week? We've had thousands of pieces of equipment go out the door. We keep up with these people.
Beginner, like right out the gate, season 1, yeah, $3,000 a week is very easily doable. I think year 2, it can double again. I think if you're even half-assing your marketing, year 2 will double that. $25,000 a month is nothing to a lot of guys who have money, but to a pressure washer in year 2, I guarantee you none of these guys who ever get started in this business from their job ever got paid $25 a month. The cool thing is that the margins on this are probably 60%. With a lean and mean guy, it could be even
higher. Mine was because I didn't have shit in it, Now,
right.
Weren't that doing it right? Honestly, I would go back and change that because the pie would have grown.
Right.
I'm keeping all of a smaller pie, but I would rather make 65% of I could have, if I'd have stayed in that, I could have had a multi-truck fleet for sure. No problem. But I've done different things. So it's water under the bridge. But what I see around where we live, rural dude out here in central Georgia, Alabama, Carolinas, Tennessee, he's not a guru at marketing. He's in about year 2 or 3. I'll see him and that, man, let me tell you, man, it's the best thing I ever done. I made about $15,000 a month. So he's pulling in $4,000 a week. He's keeping $2,900 after he pays his insurance, pays his truck, and pays his fuel, pays his chemicals, and he's fucking stoked. And it me like $165,000 a year, and he was making 4 years ago at the plant. He was making 78 with a ass load of overtime.
Oh yeah, and the middle management talking down to you, and employee meetings, and
at 4 a.m. to be there on time,
having a request, and your time can't overlap with so and so's time. And they requested 2 weeks ago, so you're going to have to find a different time to do your
working night shift, working weekends. I did all that, working a lot to make 60 to 80K, which it is what it is. But then you can change that with a very nominal investment, a first season grind year of really sorting it out. Maybe some training, guys. If you want to get in on some training, we got another serious starter event coming up in March. We sold February out 3 weeks ago. So if you want to come to the March one, what are those dates? You got a link?
Hey guys, Cody Yarbrough here. If you ever thought about starting a pressure washing or soft washing side hustle, or maybe even going full time with it, look, this is the perfect place to get started. My dad actually invented the roof cleaning process, which is what we call soft washing today, way back in 1987. And since then, we spent decades refining the equipment, the processes, and procedures to get the job done and maximize profits. Now, in our How to Actually Wash course, I'm going to be revealing everything, the exact chemical mixes, the ratios for every surface, pro-level equipment setups that'll get the job done and prevent damage to the homeowner's property, and the upselling techniques that are going to maximize profits on all of those jobs. Plus, I'm going to teach you the crucial safety and compliance steps to keep you and your customers protected. Look, whether you're looking to make some extra cash on the weekends or aiming to build a full-scale business, this course has got you covered. Don't wait. Enroll now and discover how to turn cleaning rooftops, driveways, and houses into a real money-making opportunity.
Yeah, I'll put a banner down below. The March dates are the 21st and 22nd of March.
Yeah, I think it fell out to be the same dates as the February dates. the way the month rolled out. But come take some training. We do serious starter events in the spring and summer every year. We've never not sold a class out. It's about 18 to 20 guys, and we've done about 12 or 15 of those events. We don't do them 12 months out of the year. But those guys, they'll come spend a little bit on training, right? It's not free. It ain't supposed to be free. But get it right in your mind about what you're paying and what you're going to get out of the knowledge, cutting that curve down. Or you can go stand around out there in somebody's yard and figure it out. I did that. I didn't have any other choice. We were doing this in the early 90s. Dad didn't really have another alternative. But if you put it in perspective as far as the equipment cost, the startup cost, the learning curve, the bell curve of figuring it out, I honestly have yet to come up with a better thing a guy can start, leave his job, take a small amount of money, maybe finance the rest. I don't like financing shit either. I don't finance much anymore nowadays, but I know when you say that, it's, oh my God, Dave Ramsey will appear out of nowhere, and don't finance it then. He has to work being tired. I don't know what to tell you. It's going to suck. Which way do you want it to suck? If you fail out of pressure washing and you can't at least get back to your original investment in, say, the first 2 months, you're not cut out for business. You really do need to go back and try to work your way through a company somewhere. But if you've got any amount of common sense, you got a little bit of oomph about you, pressure washing can be a life-changing. We've seen lots of guys and even a few girls, life-changing.
So my big question is, why is, I realize the whole Dave Ramsey joke, that's funny, but there is an entire cult who believes everything that Dave says.
Yeah.
What Dave's really talking about is Dave has to go cold turkey because no narrative works. If you tell a heroin addict, now look, sometimes you can do heroin. You can't have nuance in the gospel. And so it's really maybe helped, but also hurt people that thought of not financing, because what are they going to do anyway? Yeah, they didn't finance that bass boat for $3,000, but it's shit and it ain't paying them no money. Oh yeah, you didn't finance that $2,500 worth of Nitto grapplers. Yeah, I realize you paid cash for it, but it's trash. It ain't making no money. What else is laying around the house that you have that you paid? You didn't finance it. Good on you, but you also lost money because it ain't making no money. So my big thing is, like, you try to buy your liabilities with cash. Buy the liability with cash, a cash that you can afford to get rid of and not even know that it left your pocket. Buy your assets, buy some of those, finance them, because they're going to make money tomorrow. The point is to make way more than you even care about an interest payment. Some of these guys are getting payments on some of the skids, Cody. It's like $300 a month, $400 a month for a mini skid that they finance.
First job of the month, they're paid.
A gutter cleaning and a half. You're like you can wake up and make $400 in this business. All you got to do is just crank the truck up.
That's a very risk-averse way of thinking, right? It's not wrong. But in business, risk equals reward. What's popular nowadays is take none of the risk, but I want some reward. These companies, man, they just don't pay your... I seen a stupid-ass thing today on YouTube Shorts. I was trying to fall asleep. There was a guy who worked at Burger King for 40 years. When he retired, they gave him $400,000. And I was like, that don't sound right. And I clicked the comments, and the first comment said, this is not true. His daughter set up a GoFundMe for $400,000. When he retired from Burger King, he just got his last check. Oh my God, the comments up under it. These damn corporate bastards. People don't appreciate hard workers no more. They won't never do nobody. They don't owe him $400,000. You know why? Because they paid him every week to do this and flip over. They're square, dog. They don't owe him anything. You want to go work at Burger King? That's fine. That's an option you have. That is a zero risk calculus. If you want to buy for a Burger King franchise or found Burger King, that's a big ass risk. Okay. The whole comments thread was nothing but these CEOs making $30 million. It ain't right. No, it is right. They should make that, because you could be NVIDIA and lose $1 billion of market share one day because a shark come out and bit your ass. You don't put in any risk. So therefore, you don't get no reward. That's communism now. delete all them bullshit files out of your head. But if you want to put a little bit of risk in the game, call it 15 grand. Put it in there. Put about the same effort you would put into becoming good on your PlayStation. Some of you guys got damn grown man in there playing video games. As Daddy would say, Daddy had some St. John's Bay shoes. What is that? What are those? Put about the same amount of hours you would put into deer hunting. Oh, you ain't going to do that, are you? You ain't going to do that. Because here's what you're going to say. Your life ain't all about money. Yeah, I enjoy the woods. I got to have some me time. I deserve to be able to. I ain't going to miss this year deer season. That's fine.
Sure.
You say all that you want to say. Stack that cope up 3-4 layers deep. I am
the coat be thick.
It don't make shit. If you're going down that path, you're going to lock arms with all the looky-loos out there that ain't going to ever make anything of themselves, and you're going to stay working for the man. Then don't bitch about the man. You might need to kiss the man's ass, or if you don't like it, go be the man yourself. It's not hard to do. We ran an experiment, or Aaron sent me a link. It's been a while back. We'll be looking at commercial real estate. Guys, me and Aaron have a whole another couple of businesses that we're starting, and we're coming up on $500,000 of investment, and we ain't made $1 yet. It's not that we ain't gonna make $1. We talk about this every day. It's about to fire off. This has been about 18 months, $500,000, right? A lot of thinking, a lot of damn thinking.
What? Scheming.
Y'all can't scratch up $1,800 and buy something to go make money tomorrow with. So you've got to really reprogram that. We'll be looking at commercial real estate. Aaron, how much is a Taco Bell if you wanted to schlep tacos?
Well, let's do it like a McDonald's. You want to do a McDonald's? Because I know a McDonald's, just the franchise fee was like $1 million. But that didn't count the real estate, because the real estate is dependent on where it's located. Different cities, different corners of town are, more valuable. That's probably another $1 million to get a good high traffic corner. So you're looking at least $2 million. It probably went up. Those were numbers back in like 2015, 2013. I haven't looked into McDonald's in a long time. But all of that was literally to go sell. What's our average ticket in pressure washing, Cody? Average ticket.
Probably, I don't know, $700, something like that.
$500 to $700, right? Say $500 to $800, right? You got to shoot low for some guy. They got to be able to comprehend that that's possible. All right. You're going to buy that McDonald's at $2 million, and then you're going to go start with a little thing on that menu. It's called the dollar menu. And you got to sell how many burgers at $1? That little patty, that little burger is tall. It's this tall. How many of those do you have to sell to just break even? Now, you might say 2 million burgers at $1 to pay back my $2 million. No, that's not true, because you got insurance, operating costs, humans, W2 employees, and they're all sucking off this dollar menu. So when you start looking at the payback time, the time it takes you to pay back that loan, it's probably a minimum of 10 to 15 years. It's a long time.
Right? But look at what you got in it, and look at the annoyance of that kind of an operation. If you owned the McDonald's in your small town and you walked into the local restaurant on Friday night, everybody would say, "Hey, fella that owns McDonald's," and you would get some clout because you own the McDonald's, but you ain't making but about $213,000 a year. All right.
When you start making money,
the damnedest thing is you get you a skid, throw it on the back of your truck, and make the same. And everybody would say, "Hey, he does well. He stays busy." That's what they do. And they don't know that you're making literally like $250,000 a year. The thing I like about pressure washing when I was running a truck is it's instant money. You can get money today. You can get money again tomorrow, because if you're doing residential, it pays at the time of service. And then you want to have some commercial stuff. You can work that in. I never did a lot of that. If I were to do it again, I would try to have a 70-30 split where I've got some commercial recurring that's locked in every month, whatever that looks like for you. It is extremely affordable. Don't get it in your head. Even if you get yourself a nice trailer, we got trailers. I don't even know how much the things are. We got a new model we just started the other day. It's a striker trailer, but I got a photo. There's a 5x10 with a ladder rack. That's the first one of those we've done. Look good, don't it? Got an 8-gallon on there, soft wash system, tanks, all the stuff. Head over to southeastsoftwash.com. Hit up there's a phone number and a form you can fill out. You can a bunch of skids down through there. But that trailer, all in. And if you were to come to Serious Starter, get some chems and load it with bleach and everything, you're way below $30K on a startup on something like that. That's
expensive.
Is it? Like, I don't know what it is.
When anybody says that, I immediately stamp them with poverty. It's not just they're impoverished in their wallet. I ain't talking about their pocket, because I know they spent a lot of money on that lift kit. Okay. I know they spent a lot of money on a bunch of stuff, on taking trips to Cabo. Okay. They spent a lot of money on dumb stuff.
100-inch TV.
100-inch TV. Got NFL Sunday ticket. They're spending how much a month on that so they can get all the games and watch it. How much are they spending on sports betting a month? How much are they spending on the lottery tickets? Come on now. How much they spend on?
See, they can scratch up $350 a month to finance. If you had to finance it, you can scratch it up. You just don't want to.
That's the thing. This business is too cheap to start. Cody and I have talked about this multiple times a week, that the industry, the guys who get started, who are serious, if you're watching this and you're a guy who's like us, who's going to handle business, do the marketing, do the things he needs to do. You're like an Andrew Clegg, or if you're a young guy, or you're like a Todd Ketchow or a Mike Turman or some of these guys that we talk about, then you're absolutely going to dominate. No one is going to be able to even keep up with you. If you have any question about whether you can be successful and you're a type of guy like this who just handles business and makes it happen, dude, this is going to be a pretty easy walk in the park. Because most people who get started in pressure washing are not that. Most people, they see this double-edged sword and they say, man, I can make some money quick. They use their grandma's pressure washer and they go out and they last a couple of months, because they have no marketing. They have no interest in building a foundation for lead flow or paying for training or buying decent equipment when their stuff goes out and upgrading. They have no interest in that. And guys, I'll tell you, that is probably 80% of this industry. There is a giant churn rate at the bottom of this industry who come in and leave. It's because it's easy to get into. There's no risk.
Here's what you don't get to do. You don't get to, on the front end, say, this is too expensive. And then maybe you get into it, you ease into it. And then as soon as you get into it, say, this market's saturated. You don't get to say both things. You can have a lot of pressure washing businesses, depending on where you live. If you're in Florida, if you're in a warm climate area, you're going to have a lot of these guys. And that proves our point. You can't argue with me that it's too cheap to start, because you're arguing my own point when you come back next week and say, there's too many people in the industry. Yes. You just look like that thing outside of the Toyota here in LaGrange, the floppy arm thing. Floppy. She just pick a damn argument and stick with it.
So it's too expensive to get started, but there's too many people involved.
Which one is? But the good news is, like Aaron's saying, is, yeah, it looks like a lot, right? And it is, but they're not real. They're NPC. So if you've got that drive about you, you've got a little bit of cash, you can get started, and you've got some grit, then you're going to be fine. Driving down the road, oh, damn, there's another guy with a pressure washing. I used to think that. I'd meet a guy on the interstate going up to South Atlanta. Like, we're in our little shitty truck that we had back in the day. We didn't have nice equipment. But we'd look at that guy. Look at that bastard over there. He be slant eyeing, right? I'm going to steal his yard signs. People think that way. Hey, buddy. Hey, y'all need the bleach? We're finna head out. Y'all make sure y'all run out of bleach. I said, why? Because it don't matter. See, I see somebody pop up now building equipment. Long time ago, I'd get all bothered by that. Oh, man, there's another guy. He's building. Oh, you see that guy? Man, he building equipment. Hell, he stole, copied my design. You know, it's going to happen. This is much harder to do. Much harder to build Guys don't know that. That's why they think they're going to do it. You know what we do now? We'll take a screenshot and say, "Man, look at that guy. He's pretty funny. Oh, no, he got some good shit over. He probably all right." And that's the end of the conversation. Why? Because I know when mine flops out, see, it go like this. It go, wow, I'm going to bring it. I'm going to keep bringing it. I'm going to keep bringing it on the marketing front. I ain't a marketing guy, so bring in a damn wizard, all right? Which is me bringing it. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to invent products. I'm going to have SKUs with mine. We ain't whittling them boughs out of balsa wood in the back. See, and because I know I'm going to do that, then it don't matter who pops up at their haberdashery selling a Chinese damn valve. It don't matter. Why? Because I know I'm going to bring it. So if you're a guy that's going to bring it, I encourage you, man. Look, the spring is here. It's the time to do it to it. It ain't too late. Get shit together. We don't have no long lead time. I don't even care if you don't buy nothing from us, but go try it. What's the worst thing that happen? It don't work out. Folks, go back to your job.
The worst thing that can happen is happening right now. You at your job, you're in a disgruntled position. You're miserable. Your wife's upset because you ain't making enough money. You got turmoil in the marriage. See, when you start feeling these things come to you, they're hitting you in the face. What that means is it's time for a pivot. That's what that means. And if you can learn how to feel that, learn how to see the signals and see the signs and say, you know what? Let's stop talking about conserving and pinching pennies, and let's start talking about how to make more money.
When I was younger and getting started, and even going back to just working a job, all of my 20s working, and then into my early 30s before I started Southeast Software. Guys that I gravitated to on the job site, people that I was friends with, was usually a little bit older guy because I was a pretty mature younger guy. So I'd hang out with guys. I had buddies, right? And these guys were usually 10, 12, 15 years older than me. And this was the through line. This was the overarching sentiment, the ism that was just true. It was wife, kids, blue collar, and we're doing okay. We're middle class. But the way we got there and the way we're going to stay there, and we're going to try to hold on to that middle-class lifestyle. It's paycheck to paycheck, maybe just a little better than that. But the way that happened was that Dad was going to die on the sword. He was going to get up. He was going to leave the house. It was still dark. He can come home. It's still dark. He's got it's in the country songs. He's got calluses on it, which is fine. It's true because it's made it into pop culture. These guys would work and have another job. A job and a half. It's noble. That's the hat that the young dad, the young husband puts on. And he should be willing to die on the sword. I think America's lost a lot of that. They're a bunch of pussies. They're a bunch of beta jackass pussies that roll over. If something comes my way into my family's life, I will saddle up to the nth degree. But what I didn't know, what none of those guys knew is it don't have to be that way. The only way they knew to do it was just to grind. They just drink. Coffee, black,
coal miner looking ass.
These are the guys that go to Corner One. Corner One is the gas station in our town that opens at 5 on the dot. John owns Corner One. He's there. He's like a staple in the community. And you got waves of humans that come into Corner One. That first wave, that's all the guys that own their own construction business. They got 4 or 5 employees. They pull up in that dually. They're doing good. It's all them cats right there. He's headed to the plant. He works maintenance down at the plant. That's a code that they've created. It's a tribe. It's that blue collar. We're holding fucking America up.
That's right.
It weren't for us. Hell, you get all us, me and my them fellers down there, all them boys right there, we just take a day off. Oh, some bitch shut down. And they're not exactly wrong.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong.
Lineman. I hate getting behind some Chevy Traverse with some woman in the Chick-fil-A line and got a decal. I'm sorry for the language. It says, my husband's a lineman. I don't give a damn about your husband being a lineman. He signed up for this. But what I'm saying is I was understanding that was the only way that it could be. I had kids. We started our family young. We've been married a few years. We bought a foreclosure, got lucky, paid $94,000. It was a nice little house. 4-bed, 3-bath, 2-car garage on a nice street. had two vehicles. Emily was working. I was working. We was making about $75,000 a year. We adopted the kids, got the kids that year. I was like 24, 25. I'm a young guy with 3 kids, right? So I'm doing 33-year-old shit at 23. But I just was like, I guess this is dad's life. This is what I'm going to do. And if you don't see a way out, the only way you have to rationalize that, to be okay with that, is just to take that badge of honor. You never make it to the games. You don't get to, you miss events. You're always tired. You're running on 4 hours of sleep because you work shift work. You cut your finger and you electrical tape it up because you don't go, doctor. You ain't got time. See,
Ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah, he'd be like, well, what, how you doing it? Well, I died 3 times. Hell, I ain't got time to die. Everybody was like Jesse Ventura in Predator. I ain't got time to bleed. There's a conspiracy. They're trying to keep us all blue collar and working. It was just how everybody thought. I don't know how it was in Daphne down in South Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
That was through line, man. It was a badge of honor.
Anybody who's making money who is not dying,
Not sweating.
if you ain't sweating, then you're not making money. You're doing something unethical. Honest, what is it? Dirty hands, clean money. You know what I mean? There's a lot of clean money that doesn't.
Get it? I get it. But that's a lot of code because nobody sees that. I think we're seeing a lot of rebellion against that with red pill movement, and guys are pushing back because used to, at least if you did that, you got a good, virtuous woman. She was going to stay by your side.
Yeah.
You had some kids. You lived a good life. Now inflation done taxed that ass. You got a 304 beside you. It's a rough life for the stoic, take it on the chin and die. It's like, well,
I think that has shifted the mindset a lot. The promiscuity of women in this modern age. Maybe this is just for those guys who are like 20 to 30 to 35, 40. That group, they're seeing just like how promiscuous these women are. It's not the same. My granddad, they grew up in the Depression. They ain't never thrown away nothing. It's all still in that garage or in that shop from 1920. I got tools from 1800, like wooden handles. That one drill that you got to do this with. Oh, it's a hand drill. You're building a log cabin over here or some shit. They kept all that stuff. And I think these guys are learning that taking it on the chin without the reward is not worth it anymore. I think I went back into my second marriage with that mindset. I'm not going to be abused like verbally, like I was in my first marriage. I'm not going to just take this nagging horse shit all the time. Nothing you do is right. It's well, see, here's the thing. All you got to tell me is this. If somebody pounds on that door at 3 a.m., that front door,
who's going down there?
Who going down there to get shot in the chest by a slug? Me. See, you get to hide out up here and call the cops. I get to go down there and die. And if I'm the one who gets to go down there and die, by God, that sandwich that I want at noon, how I like it. I want you.
It's a lot of Sean Whalen, and he's right about that. Guys were right because it's like the jokes and memes where dad gets a pack of socks on Christmas morning. Now, I don't want nothing but look, I buy my shit year round. Like, right. I walk a different way. And it's my responsibility to train my sons differently. Not that my dad didn't, he did great. Dad did a great job, but I've learned more than dad knew. So now with this new knowledge, I've got to train my sons. No, we're wealthy. No, we're successful. How many businesses does your dad own? That's right. How many properties do we have? That's right. How much commercial square foot roof do we have? That's right. And I'm teaching them that at 17, they're starting their business. They're starting a business in the next few months. I'm trying to mold them so that when they meet their little brunette or whatever she look, hopefully it's a girl. I hope, good Lord. I want him to be the king. See, if you start acting like the king, then that means your family gets to be part of the kingdom. My family lived good as hell. I'm talking about. There ain't many blondies riding around LaGrange and Lexuses and Lotuses and ladies' Rolexes in the damn lake house. Everything starts with an L. Louis Vuitton purse having ass.
Louis Vuitton.
but here's the deal. I'm not saying I wouldn't go grind in a salt mill to make that happen. But if there is another way, and I pull in multiple millions, if I have $50, $60 million in sales, if I got an 8-figure business I founded off of the back of $8,000 and me dying in the driveway for a few years to build it up, then by God, the chicken and dumplings is coming when I ask for them.
That's right.
I'm going to ask around out here in the yard and smoke cigars. Guys, there is a different way you can live.
That's
you
right.
don't have to be saddled up to the time card that we used to swipe in. We clocked in so much, you wore the barcode off the back of the time card. Had to go up there and get a new badge. Hell, I don't want my badge out. Y'all, some bitch don't work. You never wore out a badge. And you walking around, patting yourself on the back.
You're bragging about the wrong thing, man.
That's wrong shit, man. If that's you, could be a sign to get yourself super mini.
He said, how many mules you had die in that mine? See, I've had 4. You know, you got to work to have 4 mules die in the mine with you. Oh, shit, I ain't never came out the mine.
My parents and Aaron's parents are about the same age. My parents' generation, all the women had in their mind that the guy had to be Michael Landon from Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Just damn good looking as hell. Moral compass like a rock. Somehow he always pulled it off. I can see it.
Here's the other side of that story. My wife loves that show, and I watch
Good
it
show.
with her sometimes. Good show. We got the whole series on DVD. She loves the Waltons. She loves all that wholesome stuff. The second time around,
Wholesome as hell.
wholesome as hell. A lot of people don't understand about Michael Landon in Little House on the Prairie. That character would fall on the sword for his family, but his family was grateful. They were kind. The woman was never speaking over him, never nagging him. His kids were respectful. Everybody was grateful that dad was willing to go out and fall on the sword for the family. And I'm going to tell you, if you're a guy watching this right now, that's all you need is just for somebody to be grateful that you're willing to die for their existence, for them to have a good life. And you are. If you're a guy with a family and you're watching, I know you're willing to die because it's inside of you. This isn't something that you need to be taught. This is something that's in you. But you need to have the other side of those things to reap the reward of being willing to go out and slave away. It's called a respectful woman. It's called kids that love you and respect you. It's called not even having the ability to divorce me and take my shit because it's all in a trust. See, I don't know what to tell you. Can't do nothing. See,
I'll offer you a different perspective. Guys we've been taught by what did Myron Golden say, the cultural societal hypnotic mechanism.
Oh, yeah.
That dying on the sword means clocking in, wearing out a pair of Wolverines, walking 15 miles on concrete a day and turning wrenches or whatever it is you do. What if it's taking a little bit of cash and investing and staying up late, researching and Googling and stepping out on a limb and starting your business so that 3 years from now, you're in a different position where you don't have to die on the sword? What if that's actually dying on the sword? What if that's what it really is? The ability to have the courage to take a little flack from your buddies, miss a few things, church, because you're going to lose friends in this journey. If you do any serious revenue, your entire friend group will change because they're not going to be cool with how you're leveling up. They will be cool with it as long as you don't level up past them. But once that happens, and it will happen, you got to be able to die on the sword of it's a bigger picture thing, man. Don't just look at it as I got to get up every morning at 4:30. But just take that same energy and put it into your business and give it about 2 to 3 years and bust your ass. It ain't gonna be easy. It's in fact gonna be way harder. Whatever amount of tired you are right now, if you pull this ripcord, I'm telling you, you saddle up for whatever amount of tired you are now times 18.
Yeah.
But the good news is on the backside of that, if you do it right, you put in the grind, you can sit back like this, put your feet up. You can work, like Aaron said at the beginning of this video, at your leisure and make millions a year. My workload has done this as my income has done this. It's a different kind of work. It's mental work. It's a little bit of this. It's a little bit of meetings. It's a little bit of strategy. It's a little bit of overarching. My job is to make about 4 real good decisions a year. That's what I pay myself to do. Make about 4 big tactical moves for the quarter, right? To move the boat yonder way. My job ain't to go in there and build a mini skid. I got guys that do that. They do great at that, right? They are master craftsmen of soft wash artisanal builds.
Right.
My workload has went down and I've went up in income because I did die on the sword. If you just took a snapshot of me right now, he don't do shit. He's one of them CEOs, makes all that money on my, yeah, I know. That's what they want you to think, right? Because you're not seeing the backstory. You're not seeing the grind that it took. Not a magic pill, guys. Pressure washing is absolutely can be a game changer for your life. We've seen it for our entire family tree. And I'm sure somebody down the way, they're going to have that picture of me and the sissy cat up at the top of the mantle, and some jackass nephew or great grandson of mine will blow it all. But pressure washing can change the trajectory. It can change how you go on vacation. I used to go on vacation. We'd go to Gulf Shores or Orange Beach. My favorite part of vacation, we'd stop at Priester's Pecans. Okay. That's about halfway. And we'd always take $3 to $4 grand was our vacation money. Toyota Sequoia, kids in the back seat. We're headed to the beach. And I got money, man. I got $4 grand in my pocket. We stop at Priester's. I walk in chest out.
Is it? Get y'all what you want. Get y'all some pecans.
Hell, I tell you what, go on get some of that divinity. Go on get some of that divinity. You want to get that t-shirt? Go on get it. Hell, the back was a little different.
He was puckered up.
He done spend it all. Yay. And had spent all he had in the far country on activities. Barely would have went back to Roanoke. Now when I go on vacation, different vibe, man. I go down to the beach. I have a debit card and it just swipes and I don't really know. I don't have to keep up with it. It's nice. It is great. I want you guys to have that too. You're not going to get there at your 9 to 5. We want you to win. I want you to be the next Andrew Clegg, the next Ashley Westfall success story. And there's so many now, I can't keep up with them. The next person that comes, gets their Gen 2, they roll off into the sunset. And the next time I hear from them was one that we got a guy. I don't know if you remember this guy. His name is Martin. I think I almost remembered his last name. He's in Birmingham. Jonathan told me Monday he's coming back, getting his 3rd skid from us. Hadn't seen him in about 3 years. He's in that long B-roll shot where I'm loading up all that equipment. His dad's in there, and they're black guy with dreads from Birmingham. Super cool guy. When he came down and bought the 2nd skid, he brought him a cigar box full of ones. We had to go get this little cash machine. He was like, I was like, sanitize these.
That's hilarious.
That's what I want. I want you to be the next guy that sails off into the sunset, making tons of money, putting trucks on the road if that's what you want to do. You lean and mean if that's what you want to do. And you're living a completely different lifestyle. It can happen. It can happen, but you have to put in work.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for tuning in this video. Come to Serious Starter next month. Click the link below. I'll put some link in the description, link in the comments, or just go to southeastsoftwash.com. Check out the training section, and it will have the in-person events there. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's go, baby.